of this presentation is set in the immediate aftermath of the Battle of Salamanca.
Hello and welcome to Battle of the Day. I'm Zach White. Today we look at the Battle of Salamanca and ask, did the Allies win or the French lose this pivotal battle? But first, here's what's coming up on today's show. Our military experts Dan Schuster and Richard Brown join me to discuss where it all went wrong for the French. Our war correspondent Jamie Bush has some exclusive interviews with the Duke of Wellington, Marshal Marmont and General Clausel. And finally, Jamie, Josh, Ethan and Will answer some of the viewers' questions and comments about the battle and the wider situation in Spain and Portugal. We've been inundated by viewers' comments about the battle. Maria from Cadiz says, "Viva Los Angeles, Viva Wellington, God preserve Spain's liberators." General Foy, who's serving with the French Army of Portugal, says this battle raises Wellington almost to the level of Marlborough. It was a battle in the style of Frederick the Great. Now we hand over to our war correspondent Jamie Bush, who's looking at some of the viewers' questions. Jamie.
Thank you, Zach. Joining me are our UK expert Will, our foreign affairs analyst Josh, and our European editor Ethan. Now, our first letter comes from Jane in London. She thinks that this victory will end the war in the peninsula. Is this realistic?
Well, it certainly opened up Madrid for Wellington to take, and this is going to be a massive blow to the French regime in Spain. It's really going to show how precarious their hold is. It's also going to be a massive morale boost to all the Spanish forces, including the guerrillas.
John from Somerset says the troops' lack of pay is disgusting. They risk their lives in their work and aren't receiving what they are owed in wages.
Well, the troops are 5 months in arrears when they should be 2 months in advance, and the staff officers haven't been paid since February. The problem is a severe lack of money. Most of the money that comes from England has to go to Spain straight away to clear the army's war debts, so there's very little left over to pay the troops with.
Phil in Exeter asks, what are the Spanish doing to help in this war? He feels that we're risking the lives of our troops while they sit idly by.
I'm not sure if I agree with that. The Spanish have been unfairly blamed with the abandonment of Alta Tormes. See, everyone expected the English to retreat towards Ciudad Rodrigo, so the holding of Alba was actually unimportant until Wellington won the battle. And the abandonment of it when a large French force entered the area would normally be a very sensible move. We also can't forget the contribution of the Spanish guerrillas, who are currently tying down a lot of French forces. Esposito's in this band alone claims to have killed over 28,000 troops.
Ben in Swansea asks, why are we fighting in Spain and not taking the fight to the French by invading France?
Well, I think we need to retain a sense of perspective here. Whilst Wellington has achieved a wonderful victory, the invasion of France represents an immense task, which at present is far beyond the feasible capabilities of our forces. I think while Salamanca has given us a great hope for the future, we cannot afford to become complacent, fantasising about any storming of Paris when the French are very much still at large in the peninsula.
Pierre in Toulouse reckons that the French should focus all of their efforts on the war in Spain and forget about invading Russia for the time being. Would this be sensible, Ethan?
Well, possibly. Napoleon has definitely pulled out a lot of troops from Spain, veteran troops, at a crucial point. But if Napoleon can deal with his campaign in the east against Russia quickly and efficiently, then it's going to leave his eastern border secure and securing more power politically.
And finally, an angry Marie in Paris says we should restructure our command system because we keep losing. Is this something that Napoleon should be thinking about?
Well, the restructuring of any serious nature would have to involve Napoleon to relinquishing a substantial portion of his current power, and I highly doubt he's going to be willing to contemplate that. Should he face defeat in Russia, however, I don't think he's going to be able to keep ignoring these questions.
Thank you, everyone. Back to you, Zach.
Thank you, Jamie. Sadly, that's all we have time for on today's show, but please stay tuned for the last part of this presentation coming up in just a moment. A big thank you to all of my guests, but most importantly, thank you for watching. Until next time, good night. We'd just like to add a few facts for the sake of context. Marshal Marmont returned to France in pain and disgrace. He was given a new unit, but ultimately betrayed Napoleon by surrendering Paris to the Allies in March 1814. General Clausel did indeed succeed in withdrawing and rallying the army of Portugal with a speed that surprised Wellington. Wellington himself took Madrid in August, but by the end of 1812 was back on the border of Portugal. Once he had taken Madrid, French forces in northern and southern Spain combined with the army of Portugal against him, with Marshal Soult abandoning Andalusia and the siege of Cadiz in order to achieve this. Hopelessly outnumbered, Wellington was forced to abandon a poorly conducted siege of Burgos and retreat firstly on Salamanca and subsequently on Ciudad Rodrigo on the Spanish border. Thank you for listening. Are there any questions?
Thank you.